恋しくて星に願うのまた会えるよね
Hello, hello. Double check that everything is a-okay. How is everyone doing tonight? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to. Oh, wait, hold on. Hola, 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 hola. Testing. Okay, is that better? Sorry about that. Yeah, I noticed the one-sided audio. Hello, hello. Once again, thank you for the follow. Let's get into Minecraft. So when I was getting ready, I realized, you know, what's a special stream without some giveaways? So this is what we're going to do. All right. Let me just switch over. All right. Brightness is a-okay, I believe. Here's what's gonna happen. All right. For every natural death that happens tonight to me, okay, every natural death is going to be one giveaway. Now, I'm currently sitting on 3 deaths. So any natural death will count as one giveaway, which will happen all at the end, so we can all do the giveaways all at once. I'm just gonna pause the music. Okay. I'm gonna let's put on some. Let's pause the music so we can put on some music. Sleep. Okay. All right. So. Yikes! That's so unfortunate. Apparent. Dude, you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So since I've started playing Minecraft, I've never actually. I feel like it's a little loud. Is the music a little loud? Hello, hello. Long time no see. Let's put this down to like 60. Was that? Wait, that didn't change. You know what? We don't need music. So since the beginning of time. Okay. Since the beginning of time when I started playing Minecraft, I have never actually beaten the game properly. When the end was introduced, the first thing I did was fly into creative mode, use like the Eye of Enders to search out the stronghold, go into the portal, kill the Ender Dragon while on creative mode with a diamond sword because back then Netherite was not a thing yet. And I kind of just left it like that. The only time that I actually beat the Ender Dragon on a properly was playing on the Pixelmon server, and that is a modded server. So statistically statistically speaking, I have never once completed the game legitly. So today, not only are we beating the game, or at least attempting to beat the game legitly, we're also doing it on hard. So how will that go? I do not know. I honestly do not know how that will go. But yeah. I'm gonna jump into call. If anyone on the server would like to join in, you're very welcome to do so. Didn't know you can beat the game. So there is a end game boss. And if you beat it, it's considered being the game. You kind of see the credits. Yeah. So just to illustrate, re-establish, I don't know what the term is. For every death that occurs naturally, okay, so if I get shot by a teammate, that is not natural. If I get
That is very natural.
that is not natural. Hello, Panda.
I am here to shoot you.
Nah, you can't. How can you shoot me when the skeleton shoots you first? Ooh,
Yikes.
ooh, ooh, it's still there. Um,
Um,
So I feel like my gear is not great. Oh, I think my armor. I probably need to like switch my helmet. Or actually, I don't have a helmet. All right, hold on. Let's go do some prep work. Okay, I can tell you what we need. We need lots of beds. That is the fastest way to kill the dragon.
Really?
Yes. One bed so that you can respawn in, and the rest of the beds to use to kill the dragon.
As bombs?
As bombs. At least that's how the speedrunners do it, so I'm assuming that is the easiest way of doing so.
Hello, light on fire.
Let me just scam these villagers, you know, sell them their own
Carrots.
emeralds.
Oh. Are we gonna pass by my stuff on the way?
No, we're going through the nether.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Did
Okay,
you
I
not
guess
pick up your stuff yet?
I haven't logged in.
Oh, I brought a carrots.
Okay, I will have normal diamond armor.
What do you mean? I'll just buy you diamond armor.
Oh, this guy's rich.
No, it cost me
Stealing-
one diamond armor. It cost me one emerald, and I have 32 just from
Stealing
nothing.
Stealing from the
Is
poor.
this scum 0.9? Oh, scum is in such a weird position right now.
What am I supposed to bring?
Are you?
Full kit as the best armor you possibly can. Food.
28 entities.
I think that's Panda dying.
I didn't have anything on me.
Oh, and I don't know. Oh, the EXP orbs that I got from trading. If anyone needs gear, let me
I'm on
know.
my way. I am here. Also, is it just me or is your stream like black? Like
With-
Just you.
what?
So we
What?
make the dragon get rest with all these beds. Yes, we sleep with the dragon. I mean, what?
What?
Wait,
What?
what?
Huh?
Wait a second. Wrong show. Wrong video.
Shrek is love. Panda here. A full diamond set for you.
I have everything diamond but a helmet.
Okay, I'll get you a diamond helmet.
Perfect. All blast protection. Go.
Do you have a sword?
I
Bow and
have it.
arrow, sword, bucket of water. 100% need a bucket of water for this. Panda, do you have a sword?
Bucket of water. I have an
diamond.
iron sword.
That's not
Alright,
gonna do it.
I'll get you to a sword.
That's not gonna do it.
Here.
Iron sword.
Come on. If I whack it enough, it won't do something.
You can whack it
Yeah.
enough, but they'll
They'll whack you harder.
whack you harder.
For free? I don't see a problem here.
Oh,
Oh ho ho.
this is a family-friendly stream.
Is
Fighting
it?
a dragon or conjuring a spell with that bucket of water. No. Sleeping with the dragon and using water to cool things down.
Stop.
It is what it is. This is the way.
The way.
Alright, okay, I'll just be completely honest. I'm scared. You
Good.
see, I
So,
don't like dying.
Good.
I don't like dying, and I don't want to die.
Well, I would hope you get at least 10 deaths.
You think 10 deaths? 10 giveaways?
At least 10 deaths, I hope.
Hold on. I'm bringing my golden apples if I have any. I don't
Oh,
have
I
a
think golden apples?
I don't have a single
I have-
golden apple. This is kind
I
of
have-
sad.
I have 16 golden carrots and 9 golden apples and 1 enchanted golden apple.
That flex. That
Well,
flex.
Go into...
Alright, hold on. Let's see. I don't even have I don't even have apples. I can't even make golden apples.
I
What
have
is
6
this?
apples.
What
It's
is the
okay.
fastest way
Do
to get emeralds again? I want bows of enchanting so I can enchant my bow.
you want emeralds to enchant? What?
4 bottles of enchanting. Oh wait.
You need bottles of enchanting? Just let me know. I'll get you some bottles.
Actually, I just need to level up so I can enchant my bow. Or you can enchant my bow for me.
I am not enchanting your bow for you. I can get you bottles of enchanting, but I'm not enchanting your bow for you.
Yes, sir.
Is that the dragon's favorite snack? I think you're the dragon's favorite snack. I'm
Once
sorry.
again,
I'm like very
once again, family friendly show.
I am like very nervous right now. Um
He's shaking in his
uh
socks.
hold on. What do I need? What do I need? What do I need? I needed armor, right? Yeah. I needed armor. Uh
Crossbow
actually
or just a bow?
You probably want a bow.
bow
Crossbow.
or cross. Okay, I'll be
Crossbow is
okay,
not.
okay. Here's the real plan, okay? The main damage that we're gonna be dealing is
It's
mostly going
beds.
to be beds, then bows. Like ranged beds are gonna be the primary. We use the beds to do all okay, hold on. Firelight
So we
has never even been to
the
the
end.
end before. So first things first, the end follows the same rules as the nether. You don't sleep in the end. If you put a bed down and you sleep on it, you will die.
I'm sorry.
Second thing is that the end has no ground. If you fall, you die. Third thing is there's only 2 mobs in the end. Actually, 3 now. 4 now, I think. They're gonna be just fine, you know, they're gonna be just fine. But keep in mind, you know, the giveaway is on my death, not on their death. I mean, Firelight is sitting on 200 deaths. Panda's
No,
about to...
that's Panda's fault. That is entirely Panda's fault for that.
What? No, you had 100 deaths before we even
I
played
had
together.
100, not 200.
I don't think that makes much of a difference.
Yes, it is. It's doubled my deaths I had before going into that mansion.
Alright,
You really wanted to go into that mansion, though.
I did not want to go
Hold on.
into that
Who
mansion.
still needs to grab equipment?
I'm still waiting for my helmets.
Meet me at the portal. I'll pass you the helmet.
You want apples?
No, it's okay. You could save them for yourself.
No, I mean, do you want regular apples?
No, it's okay. You can save them for yourself.
I have 9 golden apples.
It's okay. You can save them for yourself.
You want some? You want some? You want some apples? I got some apples.
How you like them apples?
You
Wait,
tell me.
do you understand that reference? Does anyone know that reference? Instant giveaway point.
I can't.
How you like them apples? You can name me the movie.
Okay, Google.
No!
Wait, before I go all the way downstairs, what else do I need? Arrows? Oh,
I would say like 1 stack of arrows, 2 stacks of arrows. Like, be prepared to fight. Be prepared to
water.
heal. Listen, no searching it up. If you don't know, you don't know. It's okay. I'm probably gonna die later anyways. I just realized
need...
I tried to scam them and I feel like they haven't like forgotten that I scammed them yesterday, so I can't scam them right now. So I actually need to use my own emeralds for once. Wait, can I buy apples from them? Do villagers sell apples?
Probably do.
You missed.
Ooh. I got apples. How you like gum apples? Okay, so since nobody knows, I'm just gonna say it. It's from Good Will Hunting. Matt Damon. He plays this like really smart like dropout student. And then he was at this bar and there's this like snobby know-it-all that tries to impress this girl. And then he kind of like sees that he's kind of bothering her, so he decides to like step up and like basically humiliate him. And then after he goes up and he sees the guy like chilling in a different like restaurant, and he knocks on the window. He's like, "Hey, do you like apples?" And dude's like, "Yeah, yeah, I like apples." And then he slams the girl's number on the window. It's like, "I got her number. How you like them apples?" Yeah, I watch too many movies. Um,
Cannot tell. Wait, but is that it?
that's the
Food, water,
shelter. Stop, drop, and roll.
apple,
Oh,
arrows.
oh right, apples. I have them apples now. Totally forgot I have apples now. Literally bought apples, and I'm
Amanda, I
like,
want you to remember this moment when like I've asked him 3 times if I need anything else.
Apples?
I'm just gonna reply with apples. He'd be like, "Why
apples.
didn't you bring anything?" And I'd be like, "You kept saying apples."
So all she brought was apple.
Yeah,
Okay,
I want you to remember
fully
this.
kitted gear. Okay, fully
Yes.
kitted gear. A shield, possibly. If you're really, really scared, you can bring a pumpkin.
What is a pumpkin gonna do?
Protect you
You'll
from that.
find out.
A card pumpkin or just a pumpkin?
Carved pumpkin.
I mean, if you want to see through it.
I don't think you can wear one without seeing through it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Great.
All right, Panda, you needed EXP.
Yes, sir.
Where are you at?
I'm near trade. Oh,
Here, take half. All right, I am essentially ready to go. I have
it's
very
not enough.
solid gear.
I need a lot more actually than that. Let me see.
You know what? Let's do it. We got this. We got this. We got this. Like I said, you know, the bow is not going to be the primary source of damage.
How many beds do you have?
I have I have 1 stack of log, 2 stacks of wood, and 2 stacks of wool. I make them there. Because
What
beds
kind
don't
of
stack.
Nice.
Beds don't stack. I also feel like I need more wool, so I'm gonna go grab some more wool.
Okay, fine. I'll just enchant a decent bow. I only have 18 levels. 18 levels can do level 2, right? Or do I need level 20?
Wait, I don't.
It tells you in the middle.
Ugh, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I'm so far away from home.
So far.
Okay, I am ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
You're so
Do I
full.
need? Do I need gold?
No, you don't need gold.
Do not need gold. You need.
Oh,
Make sure you
I
have a
almost
shield.
forgot. I almost forgot. Like 2 stacks of cobblestone at least.
What wood?
Sure. I'm gonna bring like 4 stacks just in case.
Climb towers?
Yeah, you kind of need them. I am no Minecraft expert. Like I said, I've never killed the dragon
Like you
before,
have Minecraft
allegedly.
experts like us.
Hi, I'm Arrow, and I'm a Minecraft expert and a gamer like you.
Like us, you're right.
Oh god.
I'm ready to go.
I'm still enchanting.
I need iron.
No,
Oh.
you don't.
All I get is power 2. Oh well. YOLO.
YOLO, say no,
Well,
no. Dun
I
dun
run
dun 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 dun
the
dun
most
dun dun
minimal of
dun
things.
dun dun dun. Alright, I'm just gonna brush over what I have, and you can do a checklist, I guess. Armor,
I don't have a helmet.
I have your helmet.
That was a great.
Sword,
That was a great start.
I have an iron sword.
I have your diamond sword. Golden apples,
I have 9.
I have a golden apple.
food, aside from golden
I have
apple,
carrots.
bow,
I have a bow.
arrows,
I have arrows.
beds.
How many beds do I need?
Yes.
I'll just take Arrow's beds when he makes them.
Okay.
Do you have cobblestone?
I have cobbled deep slate.
Okay, that works too. That pixel art is legit. I looked up the original texture of an iron ore and I used it to create the iron farm. This is a very very humane iron farm.
Yeah, very humane.
Very
Nothing suspicious
humane.
about this.
Yeah, don't worry about
Nothing
the coon
suspicious.
coon sound.
That sounds legit.
Alright, let's go.
Wait, I'm making beds.
What you don't you
You don't make them
You
now.
said make beds.
you make your
Design
bed
those
in the
trees.
morning.
But why? Why?
Because beds don't stack. So you can only make so much. I don't have any armor and weapons for the mission. I can supply if you want to come along. You can.
Do we have a craft thingy box? Do you have a craft box?
I have a lot of wood.
Oh, I also have a lot of wood, but I mean like crafting box.
You take all it
Make
takes
bed.
is 4 wood. What? Okay,
Make bed.
4 wood is enough to make a crafting bench.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You
I
make
see.
everything there. Says the
I
Minecraft
see. I
expert.
see.
I'm too far away from that spawn.
But,
I got wood right here.
Say less for free?
For free?
For free?
Come on, we're waiting for you. Let's go.
I'm coming.
Are we there yet?
$3.99. Say less. Take my paycheck.
Put on gold while we transverse through the nether.
Oh yeah. See, when I asked when I needed gold, and you're like, no, you don't need gold.
Well, we have them in here, and yeah, just 1 gold stuff.
But remember?
Also, here is your helmet.
Where's my shield?
I took it. Right?
There's an extra shield somewhere here.
Can I have my sword?
Yeah.
Can I have my free diamond sword?
Yep.
That I will
Here's
pay
your
you back
shield.
in
There.
apples.
Thank you.
No, you can keep your apples.
Well, let's fight.
Here. Let's go. So bossy. All right, let's go. I got the helmet buff.
The pink bean has arrived.
Pink bean.
Okay, I'm trying to remember how to get there.
It was
This
way.
way, this way.
You guys are literally going the opposite way.
No. Arrow's going the opposite way. I'm going the right way.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna go there. Let's use that firelight.
Wait, I'm going. I'm coming.
Do you? Okay, you know what? Let's try it and see how it goes. If it's too rough, I'll bring other stuff later.
What?
I have like backup contingency. Watch out for the lava. Okay, I have like contingency plans. I have plans within.
Oh, great. I think I changed my key binding by accident.
We're just gonna casually wait until he. Okay, you're good. You good? Are you
Yeah, I'm
good? You done? You done catching fire?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you Mockingjay now? Bucket of water does
Wow.
not work in the nether. If I throw the bucket to him, it's just going to evaporate in the nether.
And then we lose our water.
Yeah, and then we lose our water, which is very important later. Go this way.
Mine the gold.
You mine the gold, you're on your own.
I said mined the gold.
Okay.
Unless you have a silk touch, right? Huh?
Unless you have a silk touch, yes.
Which I do.
You
Oh.
brought your silk touch pick?
I
Yeah,
always
why not?
carry my silk touch pick. If we die, we die.
This place looks familiar.
Whatever do you mean?
I wonder who died over here. I feel like someone died over here, or almost died.
A lot of people almost died. Alright, we're gonna
Yeah.
drop down from here.
Is there a
Yeah.
basket down here or something? I would
Oh shit.
free damage.
Everyone
Yeah.
all good? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Are we still talking about
I-
Minecraft? I believe so. Maybe.
Wait. Wait. Wait.
Don't take a running jump, I swear.
No,
Oh,
she
go.
wants to properly come down.
She wants to properly take damage. Oh, there's a proper way?
There is an actual path.
Yeah.
From that curiosity,
Curiosity.
easiest nether you ever walk through. I mean, if you have gold equipped and you're lucky that gas don't spawn, then you're chill.
Hey,
Seen
do we
something-
take that respawn anchor with us?
Nah, you don't have to. You can, but you really don't have to. And the reason is because we're gonna set our beds before we enter the end, so that when we die, we spawn right outside.
Unless the the
Bastion?
respawn thing.
This bastion has been completely cleared out. It's safe.
Oh,
And like except for fall damage, you still take fall damage. Or lava. You know, the usual nether stuff. We are almost there. We are almost there.
it was that close?
Yeah.
Well, 1 block in the nether is 8 blocks in overworld. Is that a netherite
Yeah.
sword? Yes, that is also a netherite pick. To be honest, I don't know why I brought my netherite pick with me. I feel like that might not have been the best idea.
Not a flex, by the way.
Pardon?
Not a flex.
Totally not a flex. We have to climb a little bit, I think. We have to go up. Oh, never mind. Over there, over there, over there. That is the path. Look at that super safe cobblestone path that I made.
Nice.
That, oh yeah. Look at that stairway to super
Oh.
hell.
Highway to.
That's the non-Minecraft expert. Okay. Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? A long time ago, I crafted a native vegan. We stop. A long time ago, I brewed a fire resistant potion once.
You guys go.
How did
What?
what? We're walking.
I have small legs.
We have.
I buy the torch. Did you guys go up? Oh, I found you. Okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Found.
Uh-huh. But yeah, so
Yeah,
I brewed
gas.
I brewed a fire resistant potion. And then during one of my Minecraft adventures, I drank it and then I jumped into lava as a joke to my friends. I was like, "Oh shoot, hold on, there's a move." Okay, we're just gonna drop down from actually let's drop down from over there. Let's drop down from this side. Over here, over here. From here. Yeah. This is the way.
Sure.
Sure. 100%. Hundo purse. Okay, watch out. There's a fall. There's a drop off from here. So we go around this way.
If we die, we die.
You don't want to die before getting there. Could die after.
Do you know the way?
I know the way. This is the way. Alright, the nether part of this journey is completed. Watch out for the lava.
Would have been
Alright.
nice to be warned about that earlier. It's kind of scary. There's so
we
much
die, we-
cobblestone here.
I'm gonna take the Ender Pearl and Eye of Ender with me because we have a high chance of needing it. I'm gonna keep my gold helmet in here. I'll take that bed with me, I guess. And why didn't you let Firelight go first? True. I am not a very good tour guide of the. Okay, no. I was never. Okay. I had to cross first to make sure that, you know, there's nothing sneaking up. Anyways, Firelight has never been to the end.
A
In
full
fact,
confidence maybe.
in fact, everything from this point on is new territory for you. And to ensure your safety, I will head in first. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Good luck, everybody.
Wait, are we putting bets now?
No. Well, you can, if you are scared of dying. There is a risk of dying in here. This is not the end. We are not at the end yet.
Wait, did you guys not clear it yet?
Nope. I wanted Firelight's experience.
Oh, okay. Well then, this is gonna take a while.
What?
I wanted Firelight's first time.
First time. Ooh. First time.
Final season part 3.
Wait, what are these doors for? What do these doors lead to? Where does this go?
I don't know.
You should let Firelight go first.
No. I hear skeletons. I'm good.
There is a skeleton here.
Got my bow up.
Where are we going? We are approaching the end.
Wait, walk to the left.
No, open the door. Open the door.
Okay, fine. I'll open it. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I'm scared.
What? Oh, that's a big drop.
Wait.
Are you
Wait,
okay?
why can't I open the door?
There's a
Do you know that's
door-
an iron door, right?
I've never had an iron door.
Okay,
How do I-
iron doors can
On the
only be
left
opened with
Look at this. Do you see this?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right click. Please open the door. No. It's not on the floor. It's on the wall. What do you mean you see? It's
Oh,
right
there's a button. Okay, I got it.
Wait, what were you looking at before?
The thing just go. It's fine.
Oh boy.
it's the way y'all didn't open the door for them. Oh, we found it. Okay, I'm gonna clear out this. Actually, you know what, Firelight, you should have some fun. Go in there.
Bye.
No. I know what those are for. No. I'm good. No, it's fine.
They're gonna hit you. You're gonna
It's
kill
fine.
it.
Why?
Cause they attack.
Firelight, do not fall into the lava.
Fall into the lava. Got it.
Do it. Oh my gosh. I'm
Oh.
killing it.
Those things are scary and they multiply. I'm good.
They don't multiply. They make each other spawn. Well, they break each other.
Alright, are we good?
How many are there?
0!
Oh, GG.
Yikes.
How many do you have? You have 9?
I have just enough, actually. I have, oh no. I don't have enough. We need to go back.
You're kidding me.
Wait. Did anyone take the blaze rods?
Oh no,
No.
I didn't take any. You didn't. You,
But-
you see what I asked
No.
you?
There are blaze rods. There are blaze rods in the chest. There are blaze
Yes,
rods in
yes.
the chest.
You pick that? Sorry, I don't have a pick.
Remember what this?
Yeah.
Remember when I asked you?
Hey,
like, what should I bring?
hey. We're fine. We're fine. This is fine.
I know,
This-
Okay,
remember-
he's gonna go up. We'll stay down here. Can
Yeah,
you break this?
yeah. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
What?
Break the wall.
Break the wall.
Yeah.
Why? Why can't you just open the door?
Cause it's a metal door.
There we go.
Oh, isn't it not a button?
This side, the button on the other side. Oh, actually, I don't know where the button is.
Wait, where is
Open
it?
the-
Tomatoes. So we need boom. Okay.
I just
Okay,
break-
we're good. We're good.
Got any torches?
No, I didn't bring any torches because remember when Arrow said we didn't need anything else?
All right. Oh, is there a door? Is there a
There's a
on
button
this side?
on your right.
Is there a button on your side though?
You guys are gonna hold me to the.
Yes.
I don't need to bring anything else, eh?
Yeah, you told me not to bring anything.
Oh.
It's so dark in here. Man, it must have been nice to have torches, you know?
I
have wood.
know, right?
I have wood but no torches. I mean, coal.
I'm gonna use this. Okay, do you want to explore the stronghold first? Or.
No, okay.
Because there are chests lying around.
That's what I was wondering what these rooms are for.
It's a small maze, essentially.
Wow, you have torches? Must have been nice.
I always carry torches. Here. I don't know what's in it. Anything good?
Iron.
Just iron?
Yes, iron for these iron doors.
There's so many dead ends.
This one goes down. Wanna come this way? Tour guide.
Oh, left me behind. I could have died.
Tour guide's guide.
Nah,
to the
it's pretty safe, honestly.
guide. The only thing is the
The the silverfish, but we
Yeah.
took care of that, so
well.
there's nothing down here.
I don't know if we finished everything because they spawn whenever.
Oh my god, this iron door.
Here. I held the
Oh.
door open for you.
You know, if you take
Oh,
one. You know, you
nice.
take one button out.
Wait, she took out a button?
No, I said if you.
I don't
Oh.
think I did. It's not in my inventory.
Oh, if you break it with your hands, it's not gonna drop. Oh, the library room.
There are.
I mean, there are other alternatives. Any good books?
Unbreaking lure
And paper.
and lots of paper.
Nothing
Okay.
up here.
Nothing
What
up
if I
here?
just take all these books?
You could. It's actually a pretty good place to get materials.
For like a chanting room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This goes down as well. YOLO.
There's not much left as part of a stronghold. Wait,
Jump.
oh wait, she went the other way.
Oh! Creeper?
My god.
There's a creeper in there.
And where?
Next door. Right there. Right in front of you. Right here.
Man, what a creep.
Oh! No. Okay, wait, that was kind of. Wait, what the?
Nothing. Alright.
The NTC. No, the NTC thing removed everything that it dropped at the exact right moment.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's head through the let's get ready to
Fight.
what single
door for
file line?
you.
Single file line,
I'm
go.
opening the door for you. Go.
Ladies first.
Ladies
Go.
first. Get out of here. Go. 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 Go.
More island.
Wow. It'd be like that. Can I help you?
Can someone help me? Can someone
No.
break these? I'm stuck.
Get in there.
Is there anything in the
Random.
chest? Nothing.
No, there's nothing in there.
Alright, let's head to the portal. Let's head to the portal.
Okay.
Oh shit.
I believe it's this way.
Follow the leader.
Following the leader.
Wrong way.
Nah.
Why are you mining that?
I don't know. It's just a weird wall. Why can't I just mine it?
Wait, we're going in circles.
No. This is the right way. See, we're going higher. Not up here. I just need to light that up because I was dark.
Creeper. Kidding.
Why does
Wait.
this door not have?
Yeah, some of them don't. Just gotta break it.
Okay, another dead end.
Are we lost?
No, we're not. I just wanted to light up your world.
Ha! Good one.
I hear it. I hear lava.
You guys think I'm lost, but I'm just stalling so I don't have to go fight the dragon.
I think this is dead.
Is this? Yeah, so this is the way we came down. Oh, we go left here. This way.
Where? Where are you?
Go back up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
There we are.
Wait, we were just in here, Panda. You walked back.
Huh?
See, I'm very good with directions. All right. So, Firelight, come stand by here.
Holy Spirit, activate.
You're gonna have
Holy
to jump
Spirit-
through.
What if we
Right
fall
now.
into the lava?
No, right now. Jump before you put the portal in.
I'm not
Jump in right
kidding.
now. You want me
No,
to go in?
no, 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 no.
Do you want me to go in?
Oh my god.
I'll go in,
Okay.
Panda. I'll do it.
Wait, right click.
Right click.
There are monsters nearby. He's playing the bongo.
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, Firelight.
What? Knife! What the fuck?
Did you right click the bed yet?
Oh, there's a bed. No.
Alright, use this time to
To get everything
say your
ready.
prayers. Because once we go
Holy
through,
Spirit, activate.
once we
Holy
go
Spirit.
through, where there's no turning back.
Hey, do you have room in your storage? No, it's
Yeah.
fine.
What do you
It's
need?
fine. I have.
I should go.
Well,
Alright. Let me explain. Do you wait, hold on. Do you want to know what's on the other side of this, or do you want to explore it yourself?
let's just go in and find out. Yeah.
Alright, let's go. Y'all ready for this?
Hold on, I'm dropping down my apples. and my
You want to bring
carrots,
what?
and
Bring
my
your apples
garlic.
with you.
I mean my carrots.
Well, bring
Oh,
it.
Panda's carrots.
You need food.
I have food.
Okay.
Just in case
I'm
you
good.
need the second round.
Alright. Everyone click the bed, right? Everyone right click the bed at once?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Alright, good luck.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna push you in.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Panda, stop! There's lava!
there's
Oh, that's not a good-
you don't
this is a
have the
horrible
lava
place
is the
to spawn.
least of your worries right now.
No.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the end dimension.
Jurassic Park.
Don't look
Welcome
at
to
the Endermen,
Jurassic Park.
which are everywhere.
I'm actually
Oh, I forgot the pumpkin!
It's
Yikes.
okay.
He told you.
I did.
Didn't tell me what torches though.
Never gonna let that go.
Salty.
And stone.
I think we need to dig up.
We do, but when you dig up, you run the risk of running into things.
Diggy hole. Oh, Ender Dragon spawned.
I can hear it.
But do you make beds?
Yikes! I'm scared.
I have my crafting bench on me.
You're gonna make them in front of him?
Yeah, I'm gonna make him in front of him and assert dominance. Where is that dragon? Okay, so you see.
Oh shit.
Okay,
I can't
you.
get through.
You all see like a bunch of pillars. Y'all need to like. On the top of the pillars are crystals
You
that
shoot
heal the
arrows.
dragon. What you need to do is break them.
The worst part is I can't get through.
Why not?
Oh, I'm dead.
What?
There we go. Got one down.
I couldn't get through because the dragon lit up the little entry port that you did, and oh, no.
Constantly move around so the dragon can't hurt you.
He's coming for us now.
Oh, I'm dead again.
What?
Oh my
does?
god! Look at you have to look. There's like a magic portal thing. Oh no, my stuff.
I got one. And then that one.
Okay.
I got it.
Nice. I got 3. And then those are the hard ones. Wait, that one's still
Ah,
alive?
it's an Enderman. Oh my gosh. What am I doing?
Get to the surface of that area. The shadow people are Endermen. If you look at them, they will hunt you down. Otherwise, they're neutral.
Dude, that one's so hard.
What
Right.
am I doing?
Did you pop the one above me?
1 second. I'm not in a good.
my god, I can't look at anything.
I'm gonna get one shot. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Oh, I dropped to 2 HP.
I also dropped to 2 HP.
What am I doing? I don't.
Dude, we gotta not cross paths like that.
Spread out. We gotta spread out.
Oh, we're going up there. What are we going up there? Oh, you know what I did? I accidentally left my stuff. My cobblestone. Yep.
It just.
I'll just run around. How about that? Run around.
I got. Oh, okay. I was gonna get that one for you.
Is that? Oof. Okay. That's not too bad. Is that the last one? I think there's only one more, right? Or
Yeah, I think so. I only see
Okay.
one. The other ones seem okay. Oh no, there's one up there.
where?
Oh. That was close. Jeez. Up here. I'll go up. I'll build up. This one's really high though. Please protect me.
Protect who?
I'm towering up right now. Wait, how'd you get down? Water.
Water. That's it, right? That's it? That's the last of them?
I have a small issue.
What?
I don't have water.
Oh my gosh.
have
Okay,
water.
okay, hold on. Panda. Trust me. Jump! Panda, jump!
Wait, let me
Jump!
finish this one first. Let me finish this. Okay, wait. Oh! Nice. Okay.
good.
There's one more there. You
Oh.
see it's healing? On that
Oh
one?
my gosh. Okay. Oh, ow!
Ow, ow.
Oh, that really hurt. Someone triggered an Enderman, I think.
Well, he didn't
Oh,
go
boy.
after me, so it wasn't me.
Y'all can start shooting at the dragon now.
Where is he? Is he in mid? No, he's not. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Oh, God.
Oh shit.
Alright, okay. All healing towers are down. It's time to kill the dragon.
And I can't really look at anything without like triggering it.
Oh, God. How are there two on me? I'm gonna die here. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna die here.
Oh shit.
Help!
Wait, there's still a tower that heals!
The tower.
Okay, hold on, 2, 3. Walk! This is the safe zone, okay?
Hey, water.
Safe zone, just run into
Water?
here.
Water. Quick. Oh, thank God.
Oh my gosh.
You build
Okay.
this higher. You need to build this bigger.
Okay, we need to not get hit by that. Oh, I should have brought potions for this. Okay. No. It's a different type of potion. It's not the same. There is still a tower that is healing. Which one is it?
Can you touch the purple stuff? I don't remember. Oh, I can't.
That one. Okay, I'm gonna go clear this tower. Okay, I still have enough blocks. If speedrunners were to watch this, they'd be like,
Where's
these
the-
people are so inefficient, which I agree.
Where's Firelight? Can
Where's
you come
what?
here? Can you put the
What?
water like right under us? That way. In a better way. Like yeah, that way. See? Whenever they touch it, they disappear. So just keep that one here.
Endermen are afraid of water.
Thank you.
Alright, okay. Ender Dragon is now vulnerable. Okay, it's fair game. You can
So.
slay the dragon now.
Ah!
They are stinky. Where is the dragon.
And the sky.
Gosh.
Ah!
Get closer to the middle. Oh god. Okay, wait, that's damage! Get away from the purple stuff.
Touch it.
Touch
it.
Touch the bud.
Touch it.
I don't know what I'm.
Where's the bed stuff? I don't think we're
Ow,
doing
ow,
damage.
ow. Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm taking off my shield. Wish me luck. Oh gosh!
You're gonna die from the fall damage? Oh god.
Alright, that's one death.
Start the marbles. Just kidding.
How much time do I have until my items go missing?
Well, I haven't seen it. The thing pop up.
That's bad. It's better if you see it pop up.
I grabbed half your stuff.
What? No, what? I'm right here!
Oh!
Why would you? What?
I thought.
Sorry, Panda cared about you.
No, I mean.
Stuff.
Now he needs to spend time to sort.
Take this. Take this. Take that. Take that. That. Take that. Your sword. Take...
Arms away.
Oh!
Ow, 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 ow! Where's my food? This is why you don't pick up my stuff!
This is gonna be a long.
I need food! I need food!
It's gonna be a long fight.
I need food! Ground stuff will be removed! This is why! I can't grab the stuff. I literally have no health.
You want me to grab it?
No, you will die. Unless you're at full
I have-
health.
I'm full health, and I have. There you go. Grab it. Grab it. Grab it. Grab it. Go. Go. Grab it. I'll grab the rest.
You grab everything? You grab everything?
Yeah, we grabbed everything.
Oh,
Okay.
that made my day.
Hey, please. Okay, the water.
What?
Is-
The Endermans.
Yes, but
but you need-
Endermans don't deal. But they don't touch you. Okay, if you're.
Oh,
Okay.
here, Panda.
Does anyone have my golden apples? They all here. Also.
Here, Arrow. That's your apples.
Uh,
Oh, you didn't grab them. Here.
Can you break the thing? Can you break these in the middle? You actually don't need these.
You
They're
don't.
not in the way. These pillars in the middle. You just need that level one. Yeah.
Okay,
We don't need that.
Guys, I need you guys to step away. Thank you very much. Okay, just leave this area alone.
What? The water? Or
No,
the
I'm-
Endermans?
You can drop
I'm-
stuff for me.
I'm just.
Yeah.
No, 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 no! Don't drop. Okay, now you can drop. Yeah, drop.
Drop stuff. Right. I'm
Okay,
right here. I'm right here. No. Just stay under this.
Dragon.
I
No,
don't
just stay under
know
this.
how the speedrunners do it. How do speedrunners do it? Do they do it like this?
Oh god, you activated so many of them.
I didn't mean to.
Do you have any of my stuff?
I don't have any.
I have all your full armor.
Okay. Dragon's right behind you, by the way. Might want to get away.
No big deal.
This is so chaotic. Please be
Oh,
careful
I
where
see
you
another
whack.
one.
Okay, you know,
We got this. It's fine.
we
it's
can't craft. I
fine.
can't craft right now because it's covered in poison.
Can you...
The poison for Cusco. Cusco's
Cusco's
poison.
poison.
Oh, what? Can you have a bow? I just need a bow, to be honest.
Hey, look here. I'm gonna throw your armor over here. Okay, where the non-water block is. Can you just get out of my way? Thank you very much.
Dragon's loud.
And then your bow, and there's some arrows. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh shit.
Okay,
Okay.
whoever has that empty bucket, pick that water up, please.
Yeah, but the Endermans are scary.
If you stay under, Endermans can't touch you.
You do gotta make... You need to
Nothing's
make it a bit...
touching me.
You need to make it a bit bigger, though, the platform.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're touching me. Cusco's touchy.
okay, stop.
Well, this is fun.
I'm having a blast.
Can you guys just step back, please?
Oh!
Let me deal with them.
Who has the building blocks? Make it a little bit bigger. Then they can.
Arrow has the building blocks.
Here. Just do the building. I'll do the killing.
Okay, I'll do the building. What the?
You guys really gotta stop triggering more Endermen.
Stop looking at them.
I'm not the one
Okay.
triggering them. They're not attacking me.
They're not attacking me.
Also, stop shooting arrows at them. It doesn't work.
I'm not shooting arrows at them.
Panda is.
There's poison behind us, by the way. Don't
It's so poison.
I'm at very low health right now.
do that. Yeah. Stand in the middle. Okay, that guy's on me.
Oops. I'm having so much fun. Thank you for taking me on this journey, guys. I love it.
Gosh.
Are you shooting the dragon or are you shooting the
I think
enderman?
it's a dragon.
No, I'm clearing the Enderman because I can't leave this area.
I'm shooting
There
the
we go.
dragoon.
Kind of big now.
That's what she said.
Wow.
Okay, there's no more Endermen, yeah? There's no more Endermans, right?
As long as that panda doesn't look at them.
Oh.
Oh.
Did you die again? Do you have to die? Is that the only way?
I'm just not timing my things properly.
Where'd he go?
Please don't touch my stuff.
I'm gonna touch it.
I'm making the platform bigger.
Platform. 3/4?
Can you pick that one? Sorry. Maybe.
Poison. Shouldn't we have brought milk?
For what?
Poison.
I don't think it's the same
That's
type
not the
poison.
that's not the same type of poison.
Can you break that? Sorry.
Like what?
This. Small piece.
Oh. Okay. When the dragon is perching, you don't have to.
You can attack him with a knife, yes. I mean a sword. Hey, you didn't die.
Oh!
You track your Endermans.
I did.
Oh, you're catching a lot of Endermen.
It's fine. Fine.
Man, I lost 49 EXP. 49 levels of EXP. That's a. Hey, where did
49.
the dragon at?
Yes.
I'm at 5 deaths. Yikes. For the record, I only died twice.
I only also died twice.
I died
Thank you.
once. What the? Ah,
Look at it.
I accidentally threw an orb. That's my bad.
Oh, perching, dragon perching! Alright, I love you all.
Goodbye. You're still alive.
I need more beds. Hold on. Cover me! Oh, he left. Damn it.
Okay, it's almost there. It's
He
almost there.
left.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
Did I just broke his projectile mid-air? I
Is that a
did.
thing? Oh, but then your bow is nuts though, right?
No, regular bows can do that too. I'm pretty sure if you time it properly.
Oh, you just gotta tap it.
We got this. We got this. We got this. We got this, people. We got this. We got this. 2 deaths. 2 deaths, right?
Firing squad.
I'm like missing all my arrows right now.
It's kind of
You're
hard
gonna
though.
kill arrow.
He's just really good at dodging.
I'm just gonna wait for it till it comes
Oh, I hit
closer.
him.
Enderman stares menacingly.
Ow! What the?
Don't look at it.
Oh, I got it! I got it! I got it! Hoo-ah!
Hey!
One more!
Egg.
One more hit!
Shit.
Woo! I got it. Last
Nice.
hit. We did it. 2 deaths. 2 deaths.
Oh shit.
Am I the only one that got the achievement?
Why did you get the achievement?
I landed the last hit.
What the heck?
Well,
I can't eat. You know
get
what?
the EXP, everybody. You know.
Isn't it an egg? Oh, there it is.
Egg?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
the egg.
Silk touch.
No,
What?
you don't need a silk touch for the egg.
Oh, really? But will it
Mhm.
fall into the portal though?
So when you break it, it teleports to somewhere else. Okay.
Ah, I see.
And then what you want to do is okay. Stop! Don't touch it! Don't touch it! Don't touch it!
Touch it?
Don't touch it!
Touch it?
Don't touch it!
Touch it?
Don't touch
Touch
it!
it? Touch it?
Don't touch it!
Oh, you touch.
There, here. Y'all can have that egg if you want.
What's the dragon egg for?
Like me. Drop.
Give it. Okay, so we have a decision to make. 1, we go see the end credits. Or 2, we go explore the end. Which
We'll
one
explore
should
the
we
end.
do? We're not gonna
End,
do
end,
credits
end.
first? We should do credits first. Do credits
Oh, I
first
Then
and
why
then
did you
explore the
ask?
end.
Why did you ask?
Alright. A dragon
Which one
egg?
should we
Yes.
do?
You do credits and we'll watch from your screen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stand here. Alright.
We did it! We officially beat Minecraft! On hard.
That's what she said.
That doesn't what
Yes. Question.
I see the player, you mean Aranui? Yes. Take care. It has reached a higher level now. It can read our thoughts. That doesn't matter. It thinks we are part of the game. I like the player. I like
Okay.
this player. It played
Should also
well.
call him.
It did not give up. It is reading our thoughts as though they were words on a screen. This is how it chooses to imagine many things. When it is deep in the dream of a game, words make a wonderful interface, very flexible and less terrifying than staring at the reality behind the screen. They used to hear voices before players could read. Back in the days when those who did not play called the players witches and warlocks, and players dreamed they flew through the air on sticks powered by demons. When did this player dream? This player dreamed of sunlight and trees, of fire and water. It dreamed it created, and it dreamed it destroyed. It dreamed it hunted and was hunted. It dreamed of shelter. The original interface, 1,000,000 years old, and it still works. But what true structure did this player create in reality behind this screen? It worked with 1,000,000 others to sculpt a true world in a fold of and created a it cannot read that thought. No, it has not achieved the highest level that it must achieve in the long dream of life, not the short dream of a game. Does it know that we love it? That the universe is kind? Sometimes through the noise of its thoughts it hears the universe, yes. But there are times it is sad. In the long dream, it creates worlds that have no summer, and it shivers under a black sun. And it takes its sad creation for reality. To cure it of its sorrow would destroy it. The sorrow is part of its own private task, we cannot interfere. Sometimes when they are deep in the dreams, I want to tell them they are building true worlds in reality. Sometimes I want to tell them that their importance in the universe. Sometimes I want to help them to speak the word they fear. It reads our thoughts. Sometimes I do not care. Sometimes I wish to tell them, this world you take for truth is merely blank and blank. I wish to tell them that there are blank in the blank. They see so real reality in their long dream. It would be easy to, and yet they play the game, but it would be easy to tell them. Too strong for this dream to tell them how to live is to prevent them living. I will not tell the player how to live. The player is growing restless. I will tell the player a story, but not the truth. No, a story that contains the truth safely in a cage, not the naked truth that can burn over any distance. Give it a body again. Yes, player. Use its name. Aranui, player of games. Good. Take a breath. Now, take another. Feel air in your lungs. Let your limbs return. Yes, move your fingers. Have a body again under gravity in air. Respawn in the long dream. There you are, your body touching the universe again at every point as though you were separate things, as though we were separate things. Who are we? Once we were called the spirit of the mountain, father, sun, moon, mother, moon, ancestral spirits, animal spirits, jinn, ghosts, the green man, then gods, demons, angels, poltergeists, aliens, extraterrestrials, leptons, quarks. The words can't change. We do not change. We are the universe. We are everything you think isn't you. You are looking at us now through your skin and your eyes. And why does the universe touch your skin and throw light on you? To see you, player. To know you, and to be known, I shall tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a player. The player was you, Aranui. Sometimes it thought itself human on the thin crust of a spinning globe of molten rock. The ball of molten rock circled a ball of blazing gas. There was 330,000 between massive. They were so far apart that the light took 8 minutes to cross the gap. The light was far from the star and it could burn 50 kilometers away. Sometimes the player dreamed there was a miner on the surface of the world that was infinite. The sun was a sphere of white. The days were short. The much ado, death was temporary and convenient. Sometimes the player dreamed it was lost in a story. Sometimes the player dreamed it was other things in other places. Sometimes these dreams were disturbing. Sometimes very beautiful indeed. Sometimes the player woke from one dream into another, then woke from that into a third. Sometimes the player dreamed it watched words on a screen. Let's go back. The atoms of a player were scattered in the grass, in the river, in the air, in the ground. A woman gathered the atoms. She drank, she ate, inhaled, and the woman assembled the player in her body. And the player awoke from the warm, dark world of his mother's body into the long dream. And the player was a new story never told before, written in layers of DNA, and the player was a new program never run before, generated by a source code a billion years old, and the player was a new human never alive before, made from nothing but milk and love. You are the player, the story, the program, the human made from nothing but milk and love. Let's go further back. The 7 billion atoms of the player's body were created long before the game in the heart of a star, so the player too is information from a star, and the players move through the story, which is a force of information planted by a man called Julian on a flat infinite world created by a man called Marcus that exists inside a small private world created by the player who inhabits a universe created by Shush. Sometimes the player created a small private world that was soft and warm and simple, sometimes hard and cold and complicated. Sometimes it built a model of the universe in its head, flecks of energy moving through vast empty spaces. Sometimes it's called those flecks electrons and protons. Sometimes it called them planets and stars. Sometimes it believed it was in a universe that was made of energy that was made offs and ons, zeros and ones lines of code. Sometimes it believed it was playing a game. Sometimes it believed it was reading words on a screen. You are the player reading words. Shush. Sometimes the player reads lines on a code on a screen, decoded into words, decoded words into meanings, decoded meanings into feelings, emotions, theories, ideas, and the players started to breathe faster and deeper and realized it was alive. It was alive. Those sounds and deaths had not been real. The player was alive. You are alive. And sometimes the player believed the universe had spoken to it through the light that fell from... I skipped a paragraph by accident. Where a fleck of light in a corner of the player's eyes might be a star 1,000,000 times as massive as the sun, boiling its planets to the plasma in order to be visible for a month. The player walking home from the far side of the universe, suddenly falling almost at the family door of a dream again. And sometimes the player believed the universe has spoken through zeros and ones, through the electricity of the world, through the scrolling words on the screen at the end of the dream, and the universe said, I love you. And the universe said, you have played the game well, and the universe said, everything you need is within you, and the universe said, you are stronger than you know, and the universe said, you are the daylight, and the universe said, you are the night, and the universe said, the darkness you fight is within you, and the universe said, subscribe to Aranui. And the universe said, the darkness you fight is within you. I read that already. And the universe said, the light you seek is within you. And the universe said, you are not alone. And the universe said, you are not separate from every other thing. And the universe said, you are the universe tasting itself, talking to itself, reading its own code. And the universe said, I love you because you are love. And the game was over, and the player woke up in the dream, and the player began a new dream, and the player dreamed again, dreamed better, and the player was the universe, and the player was love. You are the player. Wake up. Equal Minecraft. Equal. I'll read the comments. Okay, hydrate. Um, that was warm. Who touch it? Maybe I don't want to be Minecraft. The shush so bossy. The scheme on drugs. It sounds. I wish I was. It sounds like a story talking to me is waiting for the bathroom at a party. All right, so thank you for the sub. All right, so there's gonna be 2 giveaways so far. All right, I died twice, right? Confirm I died twice. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So 2 giveaways. Oops. I got the display. I guess. That was intense. I feel like if I did it properly, I probably didn't have to die. I feel
But
like
then we wouldn't get any prizes, so
yeah, I rushed it. So there are 2 giveaways, but it is anniversary week, which means giveaway points are doubled. All right? Giveaway points are doubled. I don't really know how long this is. Can I like can't
it's very long.
Okay,
If you're gonna
Google.
watch it, it's gonna be like another 5 minutes.
How long is the Minecraft credits? $30 minutes.
Yep.
I am sorry.
I'm so glad I didn't do the credits.
I am so sorry. Okay, okay,
You
okay.
pressed escape.
I am level 68. I was level
Yeah.
0 and now I'm level 68. Okay, so I'm gonna run one giveaway now. I'm gonna run one giveaway now, and then I'm going to run one giveaway at the end of my stream. And if I die sometime, then I guess we'll do another giveaway then.
Let's
Thank
get
you
it.
all to be part of the time that I first beat Minecraft. I can't word. Thank you for being here at the time that I beat Minecraft for the very first time. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but okay.
Well, you get what I mean. I appreciate you all. Now, it is giveaway time. As it loads, it's loading. That's loud. That's so loud. Why is it so loud? Okay, okay. Gonna set a random map. So for those that would like to take part, just do exclamation mark play to join in. And we'll start the giveaway at 9 o'clock. Okay, so there's currently a giveaway right now. If you would like to enter the giveaway, just do exclamation mark play. And the winner will win 2 giveaway points. Okay, and I'm in this race to change things up. If I win first, then the last place of this race, not including those that got disqualified, the last place of this race will be the ones that get the prize.
The last person that enters the
Yes.
win.
But yeah, that was quite an intense experience. That was quite the intense.
Boom. How many ender pearls do you have?
As you can see on my screen, I have at least 16.
Do you have at least one, Farley?
You guys can just take mine. I have like more than a stack right now.
No, I have 10. And I think she's AFK.
Okay, so I'm gonna use this time to just kind of clean out my inventory real quick.
You wanna come clean it out here?
In the end,
Because you have my sword and my shield, or
hold on.
do you have?
I
any more
have your
stuff?
sword. I don't have your
I
shield.
don't have any of your stuff. I have cobblestone, water, and my stuff. Oh, yeah, I have your shield.
Please, thank you.
I have it. My bad. My bad.
Thank you.
What are we doing?
In 4 minutes, I'm going to launch the giveaway. So for the time being, I'm just gonna chill.
Been chilling.
Been chilling.
I'm gonna make a proper.
Do you know how to get into the end?
No.
Right there. Do you see that thing in the sky over there?
In the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Dun, dun, dun.
Yep. So you're supposed to throw your wait. Oh, yeah, I guess you can build up.
Oh, I'll throw it. What if you miss?
You
What
don't want
happens
to
if you
miss.
miss?
You
Yeah,
don't
you
Yeah,
don't
that's what
wanna
I'm
miss.
saying.
If you miss your
I
scoop.
want to climb. My chances are I would miss and I'd blame Panda for my death.
What? Everything is my fault.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Can you give me a sec? I'll start building.
Oh yeah, you don't have a pickaxe.
Please and thank you.
Remember when he said, "Don't bring anything"?
Uh uh
Am I missing
why?
rock?
No, but why are you building it like that?
Well, in case we have to go higher.
Uh
Leave my stairs alone. I'm a Minecraft expert, just like
Okay.
Arrow.
Good luck.
Alright. We got 3 minutes. Okay, if you are tuning in just now, there is a giveaway happening. And it will occur in 3 minutes. Actually, I can probably just.
You're gonna die if you take fall damage.
Well, don't fall.
2 minutes
Okay.
from now. 3 minutes. Oh, 2 minutes from now. Alright.
It's there.
She activated the portal. Make uh make a platform. Oh god.
Platform 3/4. Go back.
Where did y'all go? What is that super ghetto platform?
What? Did I?
That's
Can
what I
I?
said.
Did I ask for your opinion? I don't remember. I ran out of blocks.
What?
Can I have? Can I have more blocks?
I mean I have cobble.
Can I have your cobble?
Don't you have cobble?
No, because Arrow didn't tell me to bring any.
Okay, I'll make a
What?
platform.
No, 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 no. I told you to bring cobble. 100% told you to bring cobble. Can you?
Wait,
don't.
Arrow, don't push me out. I'm
Okay, that's it. I'm building this.
scared. Arrow.
Yeah, he did tell us to bring cobble. That's the only thing he told us to bring.
Panda.
That's the only thing he told us to bring. though.
Panda.
Nothing but cobble. OCD, can you break these 3?
OCD, can you break these 3?
You probably don't want to. Oh yeah, yeah, okay. I thought you were gonna stand there and then it's like gonna dig a hole under you.
Yeah, my big brain.
Move back. Okay. There we go. Carda.
Oh, and the race has begun.
And I'm out of materials.
I'm also out of materials. Oops.
You're making a water bridge? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Wait.
my stairs aren't good enough apparently.
We can't tell what's happening with the marbles.
Yeah, okay, let's go check on the marbles first.
This is Curiosities in first.
Currently in first place we have Curiosity. In second place we have Panda. In third we have Mage Mingus. Blaze Amber in fourth, and I'm fifth. Wow. Seems like first place is going to be Curiosity. Rigged. Congratulations, Curiosity, winning the first giveaway. Don't worry, there will be one more giveaway later.
Ragada.
Alright. Now back to Minecraft. Cage race.
You know, you can just build stairs like straight down like that.
Or you guys can just use the water elevator.
You can
Yeah.
just use my staircase that I made. I worked hard on. Thank
Okay.
you for the staircase. You're welcome.
She answered home.
No,
Okay, anyways.
my staircase aren't good enough.
So, Do
Y'all
you have-
ready to venture into the unknown?
No.
oh, iron diamond sword. Might be useful. Wait, did he go?
Are you supposed to throw this thingy in there?
Yep.
Can I have my sword back?
I threw it in.
Where'd you
Did
go?
not?
Did you right click or did you press Q?
I right clicked. Oh. Oh. Weird.
Alright.
Berries.
Let's look for some structures.
I'm gonna look for one right away.
Can I kill this thingy?
Yes.
Yes.
You can break it with like nothing. Like
You can punch it.
What is this for? This is pretty.
Those are fruits.
I don't recommend eating it.
Eat
It'll
it?
make you teleport.
It will
It won't make
teleport you to random places.
Will it make me have the gum gum?
Gum gum power.
Yeah.
It is not a devil fruit. It is a coarse fruit. That's the fun part.
Please appreciate my staircase.
I mean, we
Someone
could
please.
eat. We could all take turns eating it and see who dies first.
Say less for free.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah,
we-
yeah. Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet.
Are we all gonna eat one?
Oh shit. Let's go. Oh.
Okay, 3, 2,
Are you doing it?
1, go!
Okay.
Wow, we didn't get very far.
Right. I kind of just want to portal over.
I have 8.
How much do you have, Firelight?
What?
Ender pearls.
You know,
Wait, who has my netherite boots?
not me.
I have iron boots.
I lost my boots. Oh.
Wait.
Oh.
How many ender pearls are you supposed to have? I only have one.
What the?
Those
Oh,
boots were so good. Here, take.
take some here. Probably. We
I
need
just
at least-
noticed because I have like I had netherite boots that had like all the crazy enchantments on it.
I think
Did
you
you
have.
accidentally leave them in the chest?
I'm taking another course fruit. YOLO.
Oh, hey, Panda.
Well, I didn't get very far. Okay. Wait, did he
Oh,
already
do I just
throw?
Yeah.
throw it over there?
Yeet!
What if he missed?
Oh, the guy's staring at me.
Oh shit.
Oh, he died. Okay. Whee!
Oh my god, I'm scared.
Aim higher if you're scared.
Yeah, aim high. Oh, hello? Ow. Ow. I'm about to die.
Panda.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's go.
Oh, thank you.
I want my boots. I'm sad. I'm so sad. I'm so
I
so
want my
sad.
boots and
My
These
boots are
were made for
gone.
walking.
one of the Endermen are chasing somebody. I don't know which one of you.
Please not be me.
Not me.
And I think he was chasing you.
I feel like I'm gonna die once more. The feeling.
Okay,
Wait,
Can you
Troy.
feel it?
You
Can you
find
feel it
one?
in your jellies?
did we not? Why are we? What?
What?
Did we?
No. There are multiple. There are multiple.
Okay, so it's a
exits.
different one. Just checking.
Yeah.
Okay, we did not come from
Maybe
here.
you know it'd be convenient if you had torches
Why?
to mark our places where we've been.
Somebody has my torches.
I don't
Oh,
have 'em.
I don't have any.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh.
Wait, where'd you guys go?
How did you? It's
I
a
didn't wanna look at
plain field.
I didn't wanna look at the I didn't wanna look at the Endermans.
You can look at
Oh, I
the.
see you. I see. I found you guys. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't know if beating the game was worth my boots.
Loosen boots.
Those boots are so nice.
Again, maybe you'll put them in the chest. It did so. The boots or the matches?
Oh, that's me.
You good?
Bring matches, right?
Yeah. The more you kill, the more. At least the more Ender pearls you get.
I'm taking a lot of damage. Okay, I'm gonna pearl over
Where? Which way? Oh, that way.
that way.
Scared.
You're standing very close to the edge. Where'd you go?
Did you go across?
You go under?
No, I went across.
Oh, there you are.
Okay. Oh, hey, Panda.
Hello.
Fancy seeing you two here. Alright, we gotta find 3 end cities.
3? Oh,
3.
cool.
It'd be nice if we had that map.
Is there a map?
I don't think the map tells you where you haven't explored.
Oh, there is a map. Hella dark though. I don't even see our bodies in here.
Hey, where'd you go?
I'm looking for any signs of an end city.
Did you guys go straight? Please tell me you guys went straight. Where'd you guys go?
I am near Panda. I don't know where Firelight is.
I'm lost.
I actually
You guys
don't know
go
where
down?
you are. No, oh,
Did you-
we're right behind you.
Oh, okay. I got scared.
Please, just stick together.
Well, I was looking at the map, and the map says nothing.
Where are you going? Are you going down?
We're going down,
Are you building
down.
across?
Da-da-da-da-da.
It's Buildy Road.
There's no gas here. Just walk.
Just walk.
I don't want to fall.
You're not gonna fall. Can you not walk in a straight line?
No.
She's
I
like
did not
the-
pass my my alcohol test.
She's like one of those drivers that go at like 20 kilometers an hour on the highway.
No, I do not actually. In California, no, you don't.
These are such big gaps.
I'm pretty sure Firelight can make a pretty good gas impression.
Why? I hate it here. Why? That sounds like a witch.
No, which is like.
Wizard. I feel offended.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Hello. How are you doing tonight, Vlad? I don't see any signs of an end city.
What are we
They're
doing?
making fun of me.
Okay.
I-
We
Are lost. Do we even know the way back home?
no, I definitely don't know the way back home.
Making my way downtown.
Alright, this way. You know, I much rather have lost my pick than my boots. That tells you a lot, right? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
Uh-oh.
Dude, if someone looks at a Enderman right now, we're all gonna die.
Only the person who looks at the Enderman will die.
They actually do. They do area damage. Like if they hit,
No, not really.
I saw Firelight get hit by one of my Endermen.
Or it might be my sword. My sword has AoE.
Oh,
I don't know if I can throw this pearl far enough to reach that. I don't think it's that's not risky. Let's go back down. Let's go back down.
Be the
do
guinea
you
pig.
do you really want to die?
I don't want to die. It's not about the giveaways. I don't care about doing giveaways. I care
You
about
like
not getting my
Firelight?
stuff back. And if I die in the void, there's no one that can get my stuff back. So when you deal with Enderman, you gotta deal with it like Might Guy. And you're probably
go.
wondering, what does that even mean?
Fishy
Did you
brows?
lose us again?
I didn't want to fall.
Just don't fall.
Yeah. Have you tried not falling?
Did you try for not falling? Okay.
Do you know that if heart surgery fails 50% of the time, then you just gotta do it twice, and it'll be 100%.
Wait, what?
Those are meme. Wait, do I have to come back now, or are you
No,
gonna
no, no, no,
continue
no,
coming
no,
this
no,
way?
no, no.
Okay, wait,
I'm just making sure Firelight does not get lost again.
Okay.
Lost.
Did you know if heart surgery fails 50% of the time, then just do it twice?
Okay, I feel like we have to get to that piece of land.
That big one in front of you?
Yeah, but I only have not enough.
We have all these enders, I'm just saying.
You can't throw that far. You'll die before you even get there.
Yeah, you need to build to one of those.
What if the cities are on the floor?
They're not.
They're in the air.
They're all in the air. Well, that's not true. One part of the structure touches the ground, but like floor as in like what we're standing on, not like down there. This is the time where I wish we had better bridging. Bedrock has the best bridging.
That
Am
is a
I
big
am I
ass-
close yet?
No.
How far am
You
I?
said
I think we're almost halfway.
so far. My legs feel like jelly. It's not even real life. I don't like it.
Turn around, Firelight like so far away.
My arms, they feel like water bottles. Water
Okay,
balloon?
you're actually almost there.
How many more blocks?
10, I would say.
Oh, I see it. I see the edge. Oh, I'm so glad I have enough blocks.
My hands are sweaty.
Are your knees weak?
My knees are actually really weak.
Are your arms heavy?
Do you have mom's spaghetti?
I don't have mom's spaghetti.
Let's go.
I'm going.
Let's go, Grandma.
I'm going.
Quick,
It's
smack.
stop it.
What happened to the light of the fire? She
I'll,
is she is here with us. Safe.
I'll heckle you.
I swear to God, Panda. Panda, you know anything you need from Minecraft, I'm just not gonna give it to you. You know that pickaxe you don't have? Too bad. Figure it out.
That's why I get used to all the work.
Yeah, not anymore. Find your own.
Alright, left or right, people?
Left.
Left? Okay.
I got chills. Why so slow? Because I'm a ghastly, apparently.
Portal over. Panda?
What?
Panda, you're the one triggering these.
I don't know, they saw the tall Enderman seemed very triggered for a split second there.
Diggy diggy hole, diggy diggy hole.
Are you
Diggy.
two keeping up with me? Okay, you two are definitely not keeping up with me.
Alright.
I'm got little legs. What do you want?
We have the same link. Toast with jelly. That sounds nice.
Jelly from the jellyfishes from SpongeBob.
I want. Okay, we can portal this, right? Y'all can portal this.
Yeah, you go first and you let us know. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's doable. It's
Oh God,
It's
there's
doable.
one of those
doable.
It's doable.
Wait, these are also here? What are those?
The thing explodes. Kidding.
Oh, did you guys spawn an endermite?
Yep.
No, I have yet to
Look,
see one.
I
It
saw it.
looks.
Dude, my hands are sweating. I'm scared. Oh my god.
If you don't make it, you don't make it. Can I shoot it in midair?
Pandy.
How-
Um, I recently I recently, you know, like sometimes time I watch like YouTube shorts and they always have these like food stuff and makes me maybe really want to try a croque monsieur.
Oh, what now?
A
Oh.
croque monsieur. Oui, I'm gonna do fromage. Baguette. A croque monsieur is a sandwich that I think it's like turkey with raspberry jam,
Gobble gobble.
Isn't that just
and
a Thanksgiving sandwich?
then it's dusted with powdered sugar on top. I don't know. I never tried one. I want to try that, and I also want to try a Monte Cristo sandwich, which I don't remember what that one is either. But they're two different sandwiches, and I just want to try both once in my life.
Are your guys' boots enchanted or something? Because you guys walk so fast.
We're running.
I'm running also.
You have short legs.
Oh, I thought we had the same height. Huh?
Apparently not. Okay, I have not seen a single sign of an end city.
I don't know what an end city is supposed to look like.
Not what we're
So
seeing. Anything that that looks different.
It's
Oh,
pink.
oh, 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 I found
Oh,
one, I
there's
found
another
one.
oh hey, look it! It's a boat. Ah! The third one.
Is someone being chased by an Enderman?
I am. Oh my god, the hole! Why did anyone say anything about a hole?
Just keep running.
I'm trying! I ran out of food.
Oh,
shit.
you hit her.
No, I didn't.
Oh my god! I'm dead!
I think
No,
there's another one somewhere.
That's it. Oh,
Or was it the same one?
I I died. This is unfortunate. I'll just hang out here then, I guess.
While you're stuck in a
423 and negative 2196.
The problem with that is I don't have any ender pearl.
Oh,
You know?
true. Good point.
Yeah.
Alright, Panda, let's move on.
let's get some shuckles and then we'll leave.
Yeah, I can get some shulkers and
Shuckles? Shulkers.
shulker.
Shulker boxes.
Oh, it's a good time to take out your shield for this.
No, I just have mine on all the time.
Oh, move!
That was fast.
Got one.
Nice.
Let me deal the final blow because my sword has extra drop.
Sure. I also totally forgot that those things are super dangerous.
They are incredibly dangerous.
You can fly up forever. Well, actually, not forever.
You know what? We
Well,
could use one right now. So we don't have to climb this manually.
I think there's one right there. Oh, I remember the worst part about this.
It's the falling part.
Hardcore parkour.
There is one. I saw one end ship. Oh, shoot. Ugh, I didn't think this through.
You're flying?
Yep. Oh gosh. Ow.
Where are they?
Oh, they teleported. Just give it a minute. Yeah, I really miss my boots. Like, wait, Firelight, did you check if my boots are there? I'm pretty sure it's not, but
Yeah, since I died, I might as well check this chest. No, your boots are in here.
are not.
Are not.
Oh, feels
Negative.
bad.
Is that an ender chest?
Yep.
Or is that...
Yep. Amending efficiency, unbreaking. Okay, these are actually pretty good.
I might be able to get some stuff from ender chest. Like my pickaxe.
I have one extra one. I
Wow,
have
what
one.
a pickaxe.
I'll put an extra pick. Oh, there's two pickaxe. There's three pickaxes for you to choose from, and a sword.
Can you put some building block down for me? Thank you. These are not yours, are they?
Nope,
Okay, I'll put them.
I have higher standards. Have you seen my pick?
Not the time.
Why do you think I'm so sad about my boots?
Why do I have packed ice in here?
He fell. Be horrible.
Oh gosh.
This pick is pretty good. The efficiency mending. It's not fortune, but
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die!
You can die with me!
No, I'm gonna die. I don't wanna die. I don't wanna die. I don't wanna die. I don't wanna die. Oh,
and then there was one. Can't leave. Wait, but if I leave.
Welcome.
Wait a minute. I got teleported outside.
so as promised, for every death, we're gonna do another giveaway. Okay, how much longer until?
Yeah, we don't have any ender pearls,
Oh,
so
your
how do
items.
we
I
get
need to
back?
pick up your items, don't
Can you
I?
just pick up my sword? Just the sword. Just the
Oh,
Oh,
sword
your
is fine.
pickaxe. No, your pickaxe?
I can, like I said, the pickaxe is nice, but the sword
How
is
much?
kind of just bring the sword back, please.
I'm trying.
What did we do?
He's not making it back.
He's not making it back?
He's not gonna make it back.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I have full confidence in Panda.
He's not gonna make it back with my stuff.
I might not.
Yikes. Are we gonna try again?
Hold on, I have a plan.
Is it an Unagi plan?
Hold on, let me just break this fence with my bare hands. Because I don't have a pick. There we go. I have a plan, 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 I have a plan. Oh, Panda, you might want to hurry!
Panda!
And, just pick it up. And just pick it up if you can, just pick it up.
I don't know where stuff is.
Oh, it's on the second floor.
Oh, I see some of it.
Just the sword and the pickaxe.
Okay, I have the pickaxe, but I'm also dying.
Oh
The
no.
same way that you are. I might die here. Oh, I'm gonna die here.
This is great.
This is great. Also,
I'm 100% gonna die here.
log off, log off. You
Log-
have my sword. Wait, you have the pickaxe or
I
just the
have,
sword?
I have your pickaxe.
Not the sword.
Oh, wait, I'm alive.
I can't even see what his view looks like. There's no ender pearls here. We took it all.
I'm alive.
Well, we have
Oh, you
27 entities. Ugh.
yikes.
I have your pickaxe.
You have my pickaxe, but you don't have my sword.
Yes.
Well, we can start off with the cobblestone, can't we?
You can't get to the end cities without.
Yeah, but can't we use cobblestone to make a sword and just...
You're gonna take a stone sword. You know what? You know what? That's fine. Did anyone bring pumpkins?
No. I already told... No, you actually told me to bring pumpkins.
Alright, you know what? Panda, hang in there. I'm gonna go get some gear. Give me 1 gold item. I'm gonna speedrun this. I'm going to go get
I'm going
you
with
out.
you.
You're coming?
I'm going with you.
I'm not waiting.
What else am I gonna do? I'm going with you!
I know, I'm saying I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna run all the way. Also, I have no food, so people die because people get, like, people panic and they just run it down and then they just keep dying and dying and dying. Anyways, the countdown starts in 2 minutes and I will bring it up in 2 minutes. In the meantime, I am going to run fast.
Well, you gotta be careful not to fall into lava.
If I die, I die.
If I die? What if I die?
I will be very sad. But I lost like 60 levels. Oh.
Which is a lava.
I lost 60 levels. It's so brutal.
And if you need anything, my stuff is on the outside, remember.
Yes.
You can't come back that easily.
It's
Oh,
very
like
hard.
outside the building. Outside the building, she means.
I know, but it's very hard to get out when I keep floating.
Oh my gosh, how did you get up there?
I need to build another highway. Parkouring back is
What?
not the right way.
Life is a highway.
I want to ride it all night long.
Where did you go?
Home. Through all the seas and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around.
Did you go up?
Maybe. I love you now and I love you then. There's something.
That's...
I don't remember the lyrics.
Oh
Something.
no.
Memphis Nights to Vancouver Lights.
Vancouver. Oh my god, I almost fell.
But you didn't.
I'm lost.
Da, 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 da. I don't have food. I am halfway through my hunger bar.
And I'm lost. Yeah, this is great.
Just hang in there. I will come get you.
Oh,
I went
there's
up.
the Dude, this
Oh, I
ship is-
see. I see the stairs. Now, how do I get to the stairs? This way.
I'm
And
very
then
close
this
to the.
way.
I'm very close to the.
And the sketchy
Ship.
stairs. Got it. And then I go up. Right? And then pig. And then sketchy. Nope.
Oh shoot, that's bad. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm on 1 HP. I'm on 1 HP.
Why you left me behind? And I could have just helped you.
1 HP MLG. I can't run anymore. I ran out of hunger to run. I can't run. I literally cannot run. Oh boy.
And I go straight. I go to the staircase, and then I go.
So the race probably has begun, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna look at the race until I'm like safe.
That's a good idea.
I made it. Oh, okay. Currently in first place is Blaze Amber. And it seems like Blaze Amber has won the second giveaway. Congratulations.
So lost.
Rigged. Okay, there's one more giveaway. Assuming that I won't die.
Die again.
Oh my gosh, I just did it again. Oh my god. You know what? I'm just gonna go through this bridge and hopefully I won't fall through a hole and kill myself.
Are you also
You know?
in Nether?
Yeah, I'm trying to find my way back and I'm lost. I was left alone to die.
Oh no, that's over there. What am I doing? Oh my god.
That's a ghastly.
I should drop. I should put your stuff in the
Choose
shelter
life,
box.
firelight. I choose death.
Did you
I choose
get
chaos.
Panda, did you get any
Huh?
did you get any Elker shells after my death?
Yes, I have 2.
I can't die yet. I still have to marry you.
What?
Huh?
Huh?
It said choose life.
Oh.
Oh, I smell the lava again.
You really like fire.
That's why my name's called Firelight. Yeah. Isn't that? That's totally why. I'm starving.
That was when I reached the portal. Alright, the goal for tonight's stream, we get back in one piece with an Elytra.
I'm scared. 15 entities removed. What happened?
My arrows.
You have my bow?
Oh no!
Did we lose my
Good.
bow?
It's no good. It's no
Oh,
good. It's no good. It's no
probably.
good. It's no good. Oh, this is not good. Oh, jeez, that was close. I do not have your bow.
Oh no. Oh, that's just brutal. That's
bow's
so
not burned.
brutal. The weapons, the gear, man. You picked up of all things.
Pick.
You picked up my pick of all things.
Was I supposed to go straight Am I supposed to go down? I think I'm supposed to go.
Alright,
Lava. Oh, the gas leak! Ah!
I'm pretty sure I said go for the sword if possible. I could
Dude,
be
There's
wrong.
a
I
gas
was-
leak.
Do you know how I picked your? Do you know how I picked it up? I was
Oh.
flying in midair and accidentally touched it. And picked your
Oh
sword
my
up.
god, I'm dead. Okay, I'm done. You know what? I'm just gonna wait over here. I'm just gonna wait over here.
Yeah, just wait over there. I'll bring you gear. I'll bring you gear.
Uh.
I am
I chose death. I chose death.
bringing all the big tools.
I have stuff. You need anything? Probably not.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm packing minimal gear so I don't lose anything.
Are you sure, minimum? Don't forget torches. We need torches. Just
We don't
saying.
need torches.
Wait, how do we find our way back?
We don't need torches.
Oh no!
Anna's about to
Er-
die.
Panda, don't die.
He's gonna die.
I would die. I'm
Gonna
definitely gonna die here. Not what I wanted. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh! I made it by accident.
Oh, hey, part of the map updated.
On. Oh my! How did he hit me there?
The world, the end of the world. The map on Minecraft. I see where Panda is. We have a map. A map. A map.
You are a map.
I'm a map.
We're not
Panda.
stopping until we're back home safe with Elytras.
Spider-Man 4, here we come.
I'm coming back.
Ow.
Wait, Firelight, are you by the end portal?
Yes, because I'm dead. Because I died. I was almost there. If it wasn't for those meddly kids.
Have I encountered the
dumb gas
Farlands? No, I have not. Oh!
Well, are you dead? Did you fall in lava?
Almost. The clutch was so hard. Oh. We really need another highway, not this. Oh, I found your pants where you died.
I see, I was almost there.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's very not good.
Panda,
Yes.
stay put. Okay, just chill. We're coming.
No, no. If I get hit by this last one, I'm dead. Oh, that was so.
I also lost my shield. Oh. Man. I lost so much. Good news. I protected the egg, so we still have the egg.
Wait, you have the egg?
I have the egg. It's in my... I put it in the ender chest before I went upstairs, and that's where I died.
What can you do with the egg again? There was something you can do with it. I don't
You
remember.
respawn the dragon.
Right.
Actually, I don't know if you need the egg to respawn the dragon. I'm assuming you do.
So that's a great idea.
Well, neither of you have the achievement for beating the game, so...
Oh, I
Yeah,
get it.
Panda, we need a dragon.
So here's a vote for you, too. Do y'all think... do y'all think we should keep the death counts, or should we have a new death count, because it's a new world?
It's a new world, new death scout. I want a remake. I want a remake. Panda's fault, I died. Remake, or at least half my death. Reduce half health, death.
What do you mean
Alright.
remake? You make the world?
The world is going to be a brand new world because of 1.20 is right around the corner. It's true, I saw Panda push Firefly.
What?
See.
So
At least
we are going to... So when 1.20 rolls around, I'm going to make a brand new server, but I will be moving people's buildings over if they don't want to start over. Does that make sense?
I am definitely not starting all over. But if you want to reduce half my health, I'm okay with that too.
No, I mean it's a new world. It makes sense to have a brand new, like, brand new count.
It's a hard knock.
You know what was the best thing about my netherite boots?
What?
They had Featherfall 4. So I'd take basically a quarter of the fall damage. A quarter of the fall damage.
Now you're normal like the rest of us.
Now I am normal like the rest of you guys.
One of us.
One of us. One of us. I did shoot Panda!
What?
It was an accident! To
What?
be fair, it's even because Panda got me killed 100 times.
Wait, what?
Firelight shot you once and you died.
What?
I did.
During the fight. During the dragon fight. Okay, Firelight, this
It
is
was
for
an
you.
accident.
Wait, hold on. Is the... Wait 20 seconds. Oh, okay, I'm so glad I didn't drop it just now. There.
Oh, my eyes have been opened up. Also, I have an elytra.
You got the first Elytra. You just have to make it back alive. But if you die, I'm gonna take it off your dead body. I'll help you get more Elytras, but I will keep whatever one I come across first.
Don't
Living my
forget,
body.
the map is updated so we can see where Panda is without having to search.
Don't forget, we need Ender Pearls, so you know what that means?
You're
What's
killing
up,
them.
bro? What's up? Yeah, what's up? Let's go. What's up? Yeah.
I don't have a weapon.
Look
Okay.
at me.
What?
Oh, I just had to look at like 10 different Endermans.
Oh. Oh, potions of healing.
Curiosity joined the game.
Welcome back.
Yes, I have successfully.
I don't like this sword as much.
Sky's the limit.
You have to make it back alive, dude.
I'll just wait for you. To
Ah!
I didn't know that you didn't have a sword.
Oh.
Step back. Step back.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
I died. What do you think I didn't have?
I'll just go back to the ender chest and put it inside.
Oh, true, you could. I really hate this sword. The reason why I stopped using this sword is because it sets them on fire and it makes it really difficult to kill them because they just keep teleporting away when they're on fire. I had the best sword in...
Wait, how do you make a shulker chest again?
Chest shulker. Shulker, chest shulker.
Oh, you gotta put his chest in the middle. Is there something on top of this?
Oh shit. Oh,
Just stay inside. You don't have a weapon.
I have the weapon of my heart. Curiosity. Hi,
Here.
curiosity.
Take half of these.
I have 3 hearts left.
You have food?
Nope, I'm dead. Remember I died?
Then ask for food! Communication!
But I died. You should have known I had nothing.
I died too, and I made it back. What's your point?
You made it back. I did it.
It's in the Discord.
Oh, wait, send a link. Link up.
Do 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 do.
I haven't seen Vampy Mocha in a very long time.
Do that again?
Vampy Mocha. Starlight, where'd you go?
Oh, did you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Did you leave?
Because I'm going to get my stuff.
I'm coming. Wait, don't leave me.
Wait. One thing. How do I activate the Elytra? You just jump in and press space, right?
You just jump.
No,
I'm-
stop.
You do just jump. You start by jumping.
And then?
I'll be completely honest, I'm not super sure. I'm not
Oh my
making this
God.
up. I honestly haven't flown on an Elytra in a very long time. I think you hold space? I'm not sure. Lazy
here.
Panda has hit the ground too hard.
Oh my God! I made a mistake!
Oh, yep.
So I found out how to use it, but
Did you die? Are you falling off?
no, I'm fine. I put the Elytra inside my ender chest! I have successfully acquired my Elytra.
Um,
Hold on. I have. Can you just see this? Copy.
it's 8123. It's my IP and then colon and then 8123.
My chest is kind of full.
Oh,
What was the 4232196?
there's a map. Map's updated.
4232196. I know where to go. At least I think I know where to go.
I have so much stuff on me. It's ridiculous.
Must be nice.
Okay, I don't know where to go.
I just told you the map.
He doesn't want to use it.
You're going the
clearly.
right way.
I know I'm going the right way. I have a good sense of
Oh.
direction.
You know what? I'm not saying anything. You can figure it out on your own.
I just realized there's not really a point for me to go in blind like this.
Oh, you have a sense point of direction. It's fine.
No, it's not that. Oh. I don't have a
I have-
pickaxe on me.
Wait, can I break the ender chest?
If you have a silk pick. You have my
Yes.
pick, right?
Yes, I do.
Wait, why would you break it? Like, bring it out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, bring it outside. That way I can kind of clean up the inventory without having to deal with shulkers.
I miss my sword. I miss my bow. But most importantly, I miss my boots. I will
Seriously, you don't
never
miss-
financially recover from this. I will never financially recover from this.
All that dynamite, dead, loading, lava, panic attacks, gone.
I feel
Why
like
there's so many...
by the end of this stream, I'll probably be at 10 deaths. $17? What happened?
What?
Did somebody die? 17 entities? Did you drop stuff?
No, I'm shooting shulkers and my arrows are probably disappearing.
Oh.
Oh,
And I miss my arrow bow. I called it Firestorm.
The question is, where did you put the chests?
Where I typed the coordinates. How are you doing, Firelight?
You would know if you didn't leave me behind. I die, I die.
I see chorus fruit. Someone has been here before.
Yes, we have.
Please tell me about wood.
Nope. Why?
Mary, he said he was bringing the basics, remember? Remember that?
Why do I need... I'm not disagreeing with you, but why do we need wood?
Never mind. I have a chest. We're building a chest.
I have a chest with all my stuff inside, remember?
It's all
My
good.
death.
It's all good. It's all good. I figured it out. That's what matters.
Firelight, how many pearls did I give you?
I only have 4 left.
I don't know if you have enough.
Well, guess we'll find out. You know?
I had to pearl a few times to get here. I'm gonna spend the next few days reacquiring my gear. I never thought I'd actually die to shulkers. I thought I died to like fall damage.
I know, right? It's a lot of
I
shoulders
know,
just
but-
stacking now. Oh my gosh, I love shulker boxes. Ah, space.
Space.
Oh
Here you
crap,
go.
am I gonna
Here you
break
go.
this?
Thank you. I have a pickaxe now.
At least I got something. I really tried to get the rest of the stuff, but I was flying up and I couldn't stop. So
I know, I'm not blaming you. How many pearls do you have?
I have a stack.
Okay, keep them like keep some in the chest to make sure. Oh, you know what we should have brought?
Hmm.
And Firelight's gonna be like, I fucking told you.
Torches?
No. Respawn anchor.
Remember when I asked you? Remember when I asked you at the beginning of this? I was like, should we bring our respawn anchor? You're like, no. Wow. If only someone said something. Weird how that works. Wow. Insert Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, what's this? Weird.
Wow.
I'm going the opposite direction.
Wow.
Thank you. Wow.
Owen Wilson as in house?
And Owen
No.
Wilson as in Kachow.
Ciao. Get out of here, Panda.
Wait, what's Kachow?
What?
Get out of here, Panda.
Panda, I'm unfriending you.
Oh, from Cars.
Oh my gosh.
I've never watched it, to be honest.
What?
Really?
Bro, where are you? Did you go back in?
I went back in.
I'm on my
Why?
way. I'm almost
I don't know why I
there.
went back. It's a very impulsive thing to do, to be honest, because there's nothing left
whim-
here for me, right?
A whim away, a whim away?
A whim away, a whim
I'm
away.
away. I'm away.
I mean, there are chests in there that I have not explored, so you can get them.
Yeah, but I'm in the one that I died in, which is the one that you.
The big one with all the stuff in the middle.
Hey, where's my pickaxe?
It's the one you don't want to.
Okay, okay. Who has my pickaxe?
I
pretty
might have died with it.
I can't.
Wait, Panda, I need to borrow your elytra.
That's really tired.
If I die with it, I'll get you an elytra. Do you have it on you? Thank you. Wish me luck.
And yes, hold space. By the way, I found out. Bruh!
Oh, you died.
I quit! I quit! I
Hey,
quit! I quit! I quit! I quit! I need my special boots. I quit. I
hey, you know what
quit.
you could? Since you died,
I
the way.
quit. I quit. I quit. I quit.
My elytra!
It's on the ground, dude. It's on the ground. It's literally right
know.
under.
But which way?
No, like just jump down. Oh, don't jump down.
Oh, 60 seconds, Panda. 60 seconds.
Dude! Actually, though!
It's right under.
Which way did you jump?
Like off the bridge. Like right down.
Oh, I found it. Oh my god.
Did you pick up the pickaxe, please?
Yes,
Hey,
I did.
Since you're dead, can you get our respawn anchor?
I'm gonna end my stream. I'm gonna end my stream. I'm gonna end my stream. Wait, hold on. Okay, we got 2 giveaways. Alright, we're gonna do 2 giveaways. And I'm gonna end my stream.
Oh wow, there's a teleporter right here.
Wait, why are you ending your stream? What? Why?
Because I am tired of dying.
No, there's a teleporter right beside this castle. Do you know that?
Okay, take the teleporter.
Are you?
Yeah, you can come back if you... I need to spend the next, like, week grinding for gear. So we're going to do the giveaways, alright? Alright, so last 2 giveaways, if you were interested in
Oh, no, you
winning
triggered one?
a giveaway, just do !play.
Help! 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 Help!
I'm gonna die.
Oh no.
I
Panda,
swear.
I'll get your stuff. I'll get your stuff. I have stuff.
Okay, you got the elytra. That's the most important.
We need to do this properly, not like... We are literally running
Okay.
it down right now.
Okay, wait. Oh.
I'm
my
gonna
God.
run and stare at the floor into our chest. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay,
Stare
put
at the
everything.
floor in the chest.
Just put
Floor,
everything into the chest.
chest, floor, floor, chest. Where is the chest?
Bro.
Oh, that wasn't on stream. Oh, because the... Oh, that wasn't on stream. Damn. You got blocked up by the,
Why you gotta do this?
high quality content.
the chest?
Attempted high quality content. Can you come back?
I can't.
Me?
No, he can. Dude, you can. Jump through the fountain.
Oh yeah.
For those
I ain't
that
gonna
want
lie.
to have a chance of winning the giveaway, do !play right now.
I just realized I didn't do play for the last one.
!play. You got 2 minutes. In the meantime, Anna, come back.
Wait, guys, I'm being serious. Where's the chest?
Uh,
Is it in the front of the entrance or is it in the back of the entrance? I'm trying to stare at these guys. Oh my god. Me trying to protect
No!
the rest of the stuff.
That was recorded.
it's not as funny if when it's in first person. It has to be from third
Oh, I
person.
found it. You're good.
Oh my god.
Stuff in chests. I could put things in the ender chest.
Wait, why do you want? Whoa. Bro.
Fireworks? What are fireworks are for? Milk.
Wait, why do you have fireworks? Don't use the fireworks.
I don't have fireworks. Someone had firework rockets.
I did.
Wait a minute.
You will
wait a
lose.
minute.
I'm pretty sure you will lose this fight. It's over, Panda. I have the high ground.
Over Panda. Only a Sith
Assist?
does an absolute. Wait, you guys aren't waiting for me to come back, are you?
No, I'm running the giveaway and then I'm ending it.
But you can have more
10.
deaths.
10 seconds. Alright, so this time around, first place and last place will be the winner, okay? First place and last place. Good luck, everybody. Let's put on some music.
May the odds be in your favor. Why are there so many Endermans?
It's the end. Currently in first place is Panda, and in last place is Blaze Amber.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna try to find the chest again, so I'm just gonna hold on to whatever.
I know where the
have.
chest is. I just need to grind for gear and go back and get stuff.
I put most of your guys' stuff in chest, though.
I'm gonna, as this is the last giveaway, I'm just gonna full screen this. Transform. Hit the screen. Oops.
Oh my gosh!
Transform. Hit the
Oh, I'm
screen.
not out. I thought I'm out of the game.
No, you are currently still in first place.
No, you're not. Oh, is this Arrow Nui? Oh, it changed. Why did it say Arrow Nui?
Because
Are there
sometimes
two of
when
them?
you're no, sometimes when you go back and when you roll, you kind of get past. Oh,
That's
oh,
weird.
oh! Panda falls off the map.
Oh my gosh. I want my, what do you call it?
Giveaway points. Currently in first place is Mage Mingus. Oh, oh, oh! Am I stealing first? I think I'm stealing first.
Wait, but you said first and last. How does that
First
work?
and last. Well, how does that work?
Isn't last whoever fell off?
You have to complete it. You still have to complete it.
Oh,
Yeah, how does that work?
I'll count the last one and we'll do one more. Is Blaze Amber?
I approve.
Blaze Amber is just taking their sweet time.
What if he doesn't make it? That means...
They'll make it.
Okay.
fine.
Alright, okay, so the very, very last giveaway of today. Alright? Very, very last giveaway of today. Do exclamation mark play to join. If I win, then last place that finishes gets it. Alright, this is your last chance for today. Don't worry, we're doing giveaways all week, okay? I'm gonna start the countdown right now, but there's still 2 minutes. Alright, you got 2 minutes to join the race. This is the last giveaway of the night. We were successful in completing Minecraft. We beat the Ender Dragon. It only cost me like 2 deaths. And then I died 2 more times after that. 3. How many times did I die today? I'm at 7,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that means I died 4
4 times.
times? Yeah, so 2 and 2. Yeah. 2 times from killing the dragon, 2 times from being dumb. Yeah.
It's good. As long as we still have the Elytra.
If you would like to join the server, please join the Discord, and all the information are there. As 1.20 is right around the corner, we will be doing a world reset. But that also means that all your progress actually can be moved over, because I will do that. People don't want to start over. I understand it's rough being starting over. So yeah. I don't look forward to tomorrow.
Oh yes.
I do not look forward to tomorrow at all.
Fear.
I am very scared. Last 50 seconds if you would like to join in on the giveaway, exclamation mark play. This is the last giveaway of the night.
What is the fastest way to kill Baron as a solo champ?
Baron?
Baron.
Play Warwick.
Okay.
Or Master Yi. I don't know. Are you playing a
Wawa.
bot game right now?
Mm-hmm.
We got last 15 seconds. If you'd like to take part in the giveaway, just do !play. This is your last chance. Good luck, everybody.
Beep, beep, beep.
Map is called Speedrun.
Run.
Seems very simple and straightforward.
It looks very short.
Yeah, it does.
Wait, what is that silver thing on the side? I mean,
That is probably their draft or something. I don't know.
that is.
I don't think it works.
Oh no.
Are those just holes? Anyways.
Oh.
You missed it, you melon. Like, by like 10 seconds. Actually, 20-ish seconds. It's okay. I'll be doing giveaways all week. Currently in first place is Vampy Mocha, followed by Blaze Amber, followed by myself, Curiosity, and then Panda. You're playing Kart Rider. Nice, nice, nice.
This
Vampy
map is
Mocha
so
takes the
straightforward.
path on the left. Blaze Amber takes the path on the right. In third place, I am going to take the path on the right side. Vampy Mocha is currently on the second loop. Blaze Amber is catching up. Oh, it's neck and neck. Oh, Blaze Amber steals. It's still neck and neck. Man, this is more exciting than Kart Rider. Lo 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 lo. They split into their own paths. This is gonna be very, very close. It's going to be very, very close. Oh, oh! Congratulations on Vampy Mocha taking first place. Nice try, Blaze Amber. In third place we have Panda, and then myself in fourth. Or possibly fifth. Anytime now. Panda takes fifth.
Damn it.
Eventually. There we go. Alright, thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow at the same usual 7:30. This is anniversary week. Thank you Panda and Firelight for joining me on the journey to completing Minecraft for the very first time. This is definitely interesting, and have a good one, everybody. Bye.